Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. And a beautiful morning it is. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You stepped into the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner. This is the place, and I tell you, every single day, you can have the conversation that's uncomfortable, but feel comfortable doing it. We get the message out on things that are important to the community. We reach out to those who can share in ways that we can make things better. And I believe, and I say it every single day, that collectively we put all of our ideas together, sit down and talk about it. There's nothing that we can't do. And today is not going to be any different. Let me say thank you to all of my Black History Month sponsors. I thank you so very much for being a part of this show. And they are Mr. Chicken and Waffle. Every time I think about that boogie, I get so ready for that chicken. We've got Joe Morrison's Son Funeral Home. We've got AHW Barber Academy, Wildcat Soap and Candle. That's going to be a guest on the show. We've got supplemental health care. We've got the Democratic Party of the Escambia Democratic Party right here in Pensacola. I want to say thank you for believing in what we're doing, and that is reaching our community by making a difference. And today, do I have someone on that's going to be talking about some things that I think that our kids need to know about to get involved with. We all know about General Chappie James. We all know about the library here. We all know about the Flight Academy. But today we have retired Captain Clifton Curtis Jr.
Yes.
With me today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great, and thanks for the invitation to come and share with the community.
Oh, but of course, that's what it's all about. Then I found out, guys, ASU Hornets.
Yes, hey. Go Hornets.
That's right up the alley there.
Yes.
Well, listen, I tell you what, it is so, I was talking with a good friend of mine. I got to be honest, I'm transparent with myself, okay?
Okay.
And she was talking about the things that her daughter is, involved with, the Chappie James Flight Academy.
Right.
And the things that are there. She was so excited about I think she won an award back in this past weekend.
Right.
And that she was telling me how that you were so instrumental with the group of helping with her child.
Yes.
And I think that is so great because I believe that there should be more of our young people getting involved with all the things that are offered that could be there for them. Don't you think so?
Absolutely, and that's the reason why we exist is
right.
We consider ourselves a community service.
Exactly. And being there, I tell you, I want you to tell a little bit about you because I know that you are a retired captain.
Yeah.
I saw that, I read about that, then I saw the video last night and all that you do and what you've done. But you relocated back home recently.
Yes.
When I say home, back to Pensacola.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you were in...
So I was born and raised here in Pensacola, Florida. Okay. And of course, went to high school here, graduated from Alabama State University.
Go Hornets.
And then I joined the United States Navy.
Oh, wow.
After I graduated from college.
Okay.
So, and that took me out of Pensacola to San Diego initially for my first duty station where I flew helicopters there.
Oh, wait,
I'm a veteran
really?
of Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And then after that, I came back to Pensacola as a flight instructor for the T-34, and I was stationed at Whiting Field for several years. So my wife is also from Pensacola as well.
Well, you just came back home.
Yeah, just came back home. So after my instructor duty at Whiting, at the stars aligned, I had an opportunity to get hired by United Airlines in 1995.
Okay.
So I took that opportunity to do that while still living here in Pensacola.
Right.
And flying for the Air Force Reserve, flying C-130s out at Hurlburt Field, Duke Field, flying the Special Operations C-130s there, and flying for United. It was quite a bit, but I was quite a bit younger then, so I thought I could do it all. And then my wife said we need to relocate to where my job was, which my primary job was United, and I was based in Washington, D.C. at the time.
Really?
Flying out of Washington Dulles. So we relocated to Northern Virginia for quite some time, and then the last 10 years of my career with United, we moved took the opportunity to move to Texas because we had aging parents, or I did.
Right.
My wife's parents were deceased, so we needed to be a little closer so we could transition back and forth. And of course, I ended my long career with United in December 2023. And
just a couple of years ago.
Now it's just great to be back home where I can devote my full time to servicing the community through the Flight Academy.
Right. And you know what? When you said you flew, I mean, you see me going driving. I mean,
Right.
That you flew that. How I do my hands like this? Flew that
Yeah,
helicopter?
you can do that. Yeah.
Okay. You were the pilot?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just saying because I'm so excited to see it. Okay, when I think about this, and you were the pilot with the plane and all of that.
Yeah. So I flew many aircraft with United. Started out on the 727, and then I flew the 737. Then I flew the 757. Flew the 767. I flew the Airbus 319 and the Airbus 320. I worked in management in D.C. in the flight office there. Had a lot of great opportunities to serve the pilots. Over 1,100 pilots in the D.C. Flight office when I was part of the management team there. Did a lot of special assignments for United, and they even made me an instructor pilot. So
you could really fly.
I was responsible on 2 different airplanes, first on the 737, then lastly the Airbus. So I was responsible for when new pilots come to United, they go to Denver, our training center, and they get all of the simulator training that they need to get, and then they come to us. We're called line check airmen. Then they come to us for their real world training in the real airplane, flying revenue passengers.
Really?
So a lot of people don't get to see that part often. But yeah, I did that for a number of years, and we're the guys and girls that are responsible for ensuring that they're capable, they're trained, and they're up to standards.
I understand.
Before we release them.
What intrigued you to become a pilot?
Well, I grew up right here in Pensacola, Florida, cradle of
the
naval
Naval
aviation,
Station,
much like Chappie James
Right.
did. You know, you look up and you see the airplanes flying. My dad spent 20 years in the Navy as a Navy corpsman. So, and we never traveled with him, so we always lived here in Pensacola. My mom taught school for almost 40 years here, and I had many friends whose parents were in the military, and some were pilots, and I got really kind of intrigued with wanting to learn more about that. So that inspiration kind of carried over, and that the real spark, which a lot of people don't know, was actually my grandmother.
Really?
My grandmother was a very unique person. She was bigger than life. You know, growing up, I'm a product of the late 50s, early 60s, and my grandmother was traveling to Europe and doing all of these unique things that I didn't get to see. A lot of us don't get to see our parents or grandparents doing.
Absolutely.
So that's the kind of mindset that she had. So she had a bright idea one day. So she took myself, I might have been 5 or 6, and a neighbor girl, Wanda Guyton, I'll never forget her name. My grandmother was really good friends with her mother. And she said, I'm going to take you guys on a trip on an airplane because this is the newest thing that's happening.
Right.
You know, back then. So she took us on a flight from Pensacola to Mobile, had lunch, and flew back. And that was it.
But you know, I say that because I think you see the intrigue in my eyes because of the fact, you know me, everybody, I get excited about when I see things because you don't see many it's not many black pilots that you see.
Yeah, the percentages are still very, very low.
Is it there? I mean, but to see, and listen at this, ladies, if you have one that's right here in Pensacola, I mean, a black pilot you don't see, and you see, with that being Black History Month, and we're focusing on a black pilot right here in Pensacola. Right. I think that deserves a lot itself.
Well, thank you.
I really do because you don't see that often. And I'm gonna veer away from that for just a second, because something popped in my thought process when you was talking about the helicopter.
Yes.
And what you do. I want to go to some of the things that I'm gonna skip a lot, come up to what's happening now. When the helicopter ran into the plane here a few weeks ago.
Right.
What and how in heaven's earth, on your opinion,
right,
did that happen? And then why are so many planes falling now?
Yeah, so here's what I'll say, because I was asked that question. I think WAR interviewed me to give my assessment of that, because I flew out of Washington Reagan for over 15 years.
Right.
So I'm very familiar with that airport, and it's a very busy airport, and it's really tough to fly into and out of. And they have been flying helicopters along with commercial airlines in that area for a long time.
Exactly.
So it's not anything that's that they're not capable of doing, and they have policies and procedures and rules that they have to comply with. So we'll see what happens out of the investigation. How that happened, because what we do know is the airliner was doing what it was supposed to do on the type of landing profile that they were cleared for.
Okay.
Now the helicopter, we'll see what happened.
It looked like it just went boom straight to. I'm just going for what I saw. Because I was so shocked to see that.
Right.
But I would think, this is just me now. I just drive a car.
So also, it's very difficult. You probably heard in the news where they said they asked the helicopter if they had the airplane in sight.
Right, I heard that.
And they said they did. It's very difficult to see other airplanes or helicopters at night. You can only see a lot of times the what we call the navigation lights, the red and the green light sometimes.
Okay.
So when you see that, you're thinking, oh yeah, I see it. You can't necessarily see the body of the airplane sometimes.
Right.
And you got to think about the background lights in the DC area too. So it could have been very confusing. And I say that because I have been asked that same question in my career, and only to find out that I was not looking at the correct airplane.
Really?
That the human part of that is a very big issue, can be an issue sometimes.
Exactly.
And then when you combine that with being at night, it's even more difficult. So again, we'll see what the investigation will say out of that. But it was an unfortunate accident.
God, I mean, everybody.
Right.
I mean, that was so sad.
Right.
And when I saw the clip, I said, oh my God, I just hope it was instant. I didn't want anybody to suffer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when it hit, it was just boom, and it's like it just went right into it. Boom.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that, because that's a pilot.
Yeah.
On that, because that was horrific to see that. And then later on here, a week or so later, another plane fell. I don't understand.
Well, like I tell,
what's going on?
Aviation, whether it's military, whether it's commercial, it really is the safest industry in terms of transportation that we have.
Is
I
it?
mean, if you think about it, you think of the thousands and thousands of flights that go on every day.
Right.
How many times do you hear about an incident that's happened?
Not too often.
Not too often.
Right.
But when it comes in 1s, 2s, and 3s in a short period of time,
that makes me think.
Then there's, you got to be thinking about what's going on. But what I can tell you is, it's still very safe. It's still very, the FAA, the companies, they're watching and listening and reviewing their procedures and their policies to ensure. And that's what you have to do. In the Navy, when we have, in the military, when we have accidents like that, we have what's called a safety stand down, where everything stops. Nobody's doing any flying, and we get together and we talk about, do we have the right policies in place? Are we doing the right procedures? Do we need to be doing this anymore? Whatever that is, or do we need to make some adjustments for it? So it's like a breather or a pause,
okay,
and then a reset,
right?
And then you have to continue on your job from there.
I'm going to step out.
It's an unforgiving. It can be an unforgiving job.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
I mean,
it's
and
serious.
then when I hear you say, and I've heard so many people say this, that it is so much safer to fly than it is
to drive, as an example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I fly. I don't make it a point to get up there every day.
Right.
But if it's somewhere I really got to go, I will fly.
Yes.
However, it's so amazing to me. And I don't know whether it's I gotta say this. I don't know if it's because of all these people that's being released, that's been over this for the safety of all this that's happening now, and then it's happening right after all this stuff is being done. I'm speaking in code.
Yeah, I got you.
You got what I'm saying?
Yes.
Could that be a part of it?
We don't know.
We gotta wait till we hit what they call the black box. They gotta have the black box for that too.
Well, yeah, you got the cockpit voice recorder. That's what you're referring to. And then, of course, they're looking at everything, what the pilots were saying, what the instructions were from the control tower. It's been widely reported in the news that there's a shortage of air traffic controllers, so they're sometimes modifying their you know, their schedules in order to be able to meet the demands.
Absolutely.
So they're doing a good job of that. And,
Right.
And you know, that's not something that they're not capable of overcoming or continuing to do. So
We'll see.
Why there's been a rash of these that you've been hearing about. In fact, I heard about a Navy plane going down just this morning over in San Diego. We'll see what happens there. And then I think it was another regional jet skidding off of a runway. I think,
Oh my goodness!
in St. Louis, but it's it's a lot of snow and ice going on.
I think I'm gonna drive.
It's a lot going on. But again, it's not something that it's still rare
I hear
in
you.
the big scheme of things.
I understand totally.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're having a great conversation. And now, if you've got questions, you know how inquisitive I am because I have to be just transparent when something I really want to know.
Yes.
But we have a great conversation. You can be a part of it as well. All you need to do is text us at 850-432-7768, or you can call that same number and be a part of the conversation right here on this Thursday edition of Sunshine's Corner.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sunshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sunshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
Do you have a house that you want to turn into cash? I'm Mike with Mullet Man Buys Houses from Pensacola, Florida. Maybe you inherited a house, are facing foreclosure, have tenant issues, or the house is in general disrepair. I buy houses cash, in as-is condition, and close in as little as 3 weeks. I can provide you a competitive offer the same day I walk through your house. With Mullet Man Buys Houses, you can find the easy solution to put cash in your hand as quickly as possible.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
At Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, we believe every child should have a safe place to grow. That's why we work with you and the community to build not just a house, but a home.
She worked very hard to get this house. I really appreciate that because, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now.
When you help build a home, you build a future. Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner on this Thursday morning. I tell you, I'm having such a great conversation with Captain Curtis Jr. I just love to say Captain. I mean, I love that.
Okay.
And now that pilot, but we're talking about things. I want to move from that now and come back home to Pensacola.
Okay.
I want to talk about your involvement with the General Chappie James Flight Academy.
Okay.
Talk about that. How we can get young people involved. The importance of it. I mean, such a great thing to have right here from a general,
Right.
right here in Pensacola. And I think that when you hear general, I mean, that says something to me. And what I love about it, and he's a black man.
Right.
And all that's going on with that museum there. I want to get our viewers more into what's here for them.
Okay, so if I can provide a little background
Please
of how
do.
it got started.
Please.
So I mentioned I was a flight instructor back in between 91 and 94.
Uh-huh.
And we had 3 black flight instructors in the same squadron. Myself,
Wow.
Mike Griffin, and Mike Folks. We
Okay.
are all the founders of the Flight Academy, by the way.
Oh, okay. We got that.
So when we were flight instructors, we thought it'd be a good idea hey, let's go and share what we do with some kids in the community, and particularly our community.
Of course.
So we did that. We just went around to schools in our uniforms, just talking to kids, and just sharing a little bit about them. But we were also members of the Organization of Black Airline Pilots Incorporated.
Okay.
We joined that organization before we became airline pilots, but we wanted to connect with other pilots who looked like us and who were in the industry, just so we can learn and figure out, how we could be in that industry.
But of course.
So I became good friends, joined the organization, became good friends with my roommate at United, who was in charge of a program within OBAP Organization of Black Airline Pilots, called ACE program, Aviation Career Enrichment. And he said, hey Cliff, do you think you want to do an ACE camp in Pensacola? And I said, yeah, I think that would be a good idea because we're already talking to kids.
Right.
So we started an OBAP ACE camp in 1996. And it was just a summer camp.
Okay.
And it was funded by the Organization of Black Airline Pilots. So then we were able to put on this week-long camp and have these kids exposed to aviation. So that's how it started.
Okay.
And then somehow he was the national director at the time, and somehow he handed that job off to me. So I became the national director for the Organization of Black Airline Pilots for all of their ACE programs across the country, because this was a cross the country deal.
Okay.
And I grew that program. I think there were only 7 programs at the time. I grew it up to like 22 across the country. So our ACE camp obviously benefited from that because I was a national director. So I was making sure that Pensacola had what it needed in order for our kids to flourish and be exposed to aviation.
Most certainly.
So after that happened, we decided, how could we leverage this program? So we were all naval aviators, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, and myself being in the Navy.
Right.
Of course, General James is Air Force. So there were a lot of options. We could have called ourselves the Jesse Brown organization, who was the first African-American Navy pilot.
Really?
A lot of people don't know about his story.
Exactly.
But we chose to name our camp the General Daniel Chappie James Summer Flight Academy, because that's what it was at the time, Summer Flight Academy. So, and I specifically chose that name because he's near and dear to Pensacola's heart.
But of course.
He was an aviator.
But of course.
And we thought that his legacy and his name and his story needed to be told. So we thought we could help tell that through our flight academy.
I agree.
So that's how the name came about. So then it evolved into, well, we need to turn this into our own nonprofit.
Right.
So we disconnected from OBAP in order to start a nonprofit, General Daniel Chappie James Flight Academy.
Right.
So we can do our own thing and we can, develop our own resources and our own program. So, and it was very difficult and hard to do because we didn't have any money.
And it takes money to do anything.
It takes money to do anything. We didn't have a home.
That's right.
We didn't have anything, but that didn't deter us because we felt strongly about continuing this program and putting it on the map as much as we could. And then I got a call. I was living in Northern Virginia at the time. I got a call from Helen Gibson one day, who I know very well. She was the head of the CRA here in Pensacola.
Okay.
Community Redevelopment Association. And she said, hey, and she told me that there was a group trying to start a museum in honor of Chappie James. And she said, hey, I want you guys to be a part of this project.
Excellent.
Which gave us a home.
Exactly.
So the city got involved and the group, built the facility, which is now on Martin Luther King Drive in 2018. And now there's an existing museum. They're separate from us. They're their own 501c3 organization.
Okay.
And we're our own 501c3 organization. We're married because we're on the same property.
I understand.
But we finally got our own building because we were going to the Navy base. I got to give props to Greater Little Rock Baptist Church. Because
Pastor Lonnie Wesley.
Our ACE camp, well, it started before Wesley, but Pastor Wesley has carried on. It started with Pastor Irving McWilson when Little Rock was on F Street, and that was our first group of kids for the ACE camp back in the day.
Okay.
Because my wife and I were attending that church at the time. So we were meeting out of the church. We were anywhere we can get. We had church vans where we were taking the kids around to field trips. It was so much fun to do. But anyway, I say all that to say that we've had a lot of great community partners. Seville Quarter, Orr House, all donate lunches free for our kids during the camp. We have a lot of different people who help us out.
To help.
Yeah. So when we got this new facility, we finally got our own home.
Exactly.
And we were able to, do more than just a summer camp. So now we had to figure out how we transition from a summer camp to a full-time program.
Most certainly.
So that's how that kind of evolved. And of course, we got the new expansion now because the first facility was only 457 square feet, which is great because we had nothing.
Right.
But now we got over 1,500 square feet, 20 desktop simulators, a full motion sim, a multimedia wall, conference room, office, and everything that we need to take this flight academy to the next level. And so what that means is we'll be able to serve many more kids in the community through our programming.
Absolutely. Now, how do the kids get involved? How can we send this message out? What can we say? Come on, parents, let's get these kids involved in this.
Okay, just send us an email,
Okay.
ChappieJamesFlightAcademy@gmail.com, or
Simple.
visit our website, ChappieJamesFlightAcademy.org.
Exactly.
Either of those portals will take you right to us.
I pulled
and
up
say,
the website.
and we get emails all the time. How can I get my child involved, in your academy? So what we do is when we get that email and you tell us about your child, hey, they're 14 or 15 or whatever, here's my contact information. We put them in our student database. So when we get ready to have programs or summer camps, we send out a mass email and say, hey, we got a class Saturday on electricity.
Okay.
Are you interested in doing that? And then they send us, yeah, I want to do that. And we sign up kids. Everything's free. We don't charge a dime,
Okay.
by the way. And you just show up. You just show up. So we've had classes on how to build. We had kids do a class. They built a computer from scratch. We've done 3D printing classes. Keith Hoskins over at Navy Federal.
Yeah, I know him well.
He's come over and done money and banking for kids.
Right.
So we're just a STEM-based program. It's not about flying necessarily.
Right.
So our mission is to build student confidence in the classroom.
Right.
We just use aviation as the key learning discipline.
Right.
So that's what we do. I mean, we've had, just to give you an example, one of our star former students, Joseph Young, he started with us when we were 8. And he is now, he got all of his pilot ratings, flew, and he was on his way to being a pilot. And after college, he got hired by American Airlines, not as a pilot, but in management.
Okay.
And he was doing so well there that Delta Airlines heard about him, and they stole him from American. And he went over there to start working for Delta. And he just got married this weekend. We're very proud of him. He just, a year ago, got assigned to a 2-year job over in Paris as the general manager of their European, Indian, and African divisions over there.
But you know what I think was a great thing? I see how all these places you're naming, that should really be an intrigue for the young people too.
Yeah.
By becoming, you can get to see the world.
You can get
to see so many different cultures.
Yes.
I mean, and I think that's so important with everybody.
Yeah.
That they learn the differences in the cultures.
Yeah.
And with our young people today, I think that is so needed.
We have a Navy nurse. We go to Tuskegee sometimes and visit Tuskegee.
Okay.
And she happened to be my niece, and she wanted to tag around. She was like 8 years old. I got a picture of her sitting in Tuskegee, but for some reason she got so inspired by that trip that she was on with me. She decided, I want to go to Tuskegee. And then she decided, I want to be a Navy nurse.
Oh, wonderful.
So she's a Navy nurse. We have another young man who is a crew chief or maintenance officer on a KC-135 in the Air Force. Michael Martin is a current airline pilot. Adrianette Williams is from here. She doesn't live here anymore. She was in our camp. She's an attorney in, I believe it's Tennessee. But she is now on our board of directors. So we're getting these kids back. I call them kids now because we've been doing this so long. These young people back, giving back. And that's been part of what we want to do also. Not only want to teach them there's a big world out there and we can help you find your niche, but in the spirit of General James and his mother, we want to make good citizens.
Most certainly. You said something that I got to say because I'm looking at the fact of this. I go back to your grandmother, how she took you and your neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah, took you. Flew you from Pensacola to Mobile and came right back.
Right.
But I do believe, and I'll say this, and parents, do not take this out of context. Do not take this the wrong way. But as I see with the young people that are being in your circle.
Right.
When you, whatever you hang with, is usually what you're going to end up doing. I mean, that plays a great big part in, what's this old thing that my mother used to say, the birds of a feather flock together?
Yes.
But I think that with the young people seeing how this can happen at a young age, that can only inspire. Look at you said about, you know, took her to Tuskegee, and then she decided to do what? To go ahead and become a Navy nurse.
Yes, she did.
Because she's in that circle of people that are successful.
Right. And the young man I mentioned about the KC-135, which is a Air Force airplane, you know, we asked the kids, hey, what do you want to do, you know, in a camp?
Exactly.
He wanted to be a mechanic for cars. Mm-hmm. So he had this mechanical inclination, but when he saw this big world of aviation, he said, whoa, wait a minute.
That's right.
I can do this?
That's right.
Let me try this.
That's right. But do you see what I'm saying? That's what I tell a lot of people, and I try to get people to understand. It's not that I'm saying anything in a negative way. No. But when you take it and you put a child in that atmosphere.
Right.
That's only going to cause that child to say, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't have to go do this. I can do this. I can sit up. I can become a pilot.
Right.
I can become an engineer.
Right.
But if you're thinking, I want all of our kids to get this out.
Right.
Everybody can't rap. Everybody can't play football. Everybody can't play basketball. Get that out your head.
Right.
Get something that's going to be substantial, that's going to keep you the longevity of it.
Yeah. But what we do, you know, when we have a kid that says, hey, I want to be a basketball player or whatever, we say, okay, well, what's your plan B?
There you go.
You know,
exactly.
Yeah, that's great to aspire to that. Have no problem with it.
That's right.
But what's plan B?
Absolutely. And the way he delivers this with the smile on your face, I can tell those kids got to be receptive to that. We're talking today, and I tell you, these are things that are so important with it. It's Black History Month, and I want you to see that there is so much Black history right here in Pensacola that possibly you don't even know just how deep it goes. But we're going to share it with you today right here on Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Keep going, more. No, stop!
There are many reasons someone may need in-home care, whether it may be respite care, them recovering from surgery, or having a chronic condition. Having someone dedicated and reliable is imperative. Supplemental Support Care Services was created to provide to those who are in need with quality care that they deserve in the home. Taking it a step further, our main goal is to ensure that Supplemental Support Care Services is where the love and care is top priority.
I'm Emily Echeverria, Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida and the host of Coming of Age. Watch our show to find out what we're doing for our seniors and their families and hear from area experts and local business owners about their programs and services. Want to help? Find out how you can work with us to bring a better future to our seniors. Watch Coming of Age, 3:30 p.m. Wednesdays, only on Blab TV.
Early in life, Tony found a love for craftsmanship through building furniture. Growing up in cabinet shops, he was drawn towards custom cabinetry, designing, and creating new and functional spaces. And to be able to share that passion with his clients, helping them turn their ideas into something special, making sure you get more for your investment.
Every kitchen and bath starts with your unique vision. I just bring it to life.
Master-built cabinets, beautifully handcrafted and customer designed.
This Black History Note is being brought to you by Supplemental Support Care.
Stacey Abrams, who narrowly lost her bid for governor and founded Fair Fight Action, a voting rights nonprofit organization that is building voters' protection teams in 20 states. She is credited with boosting voters' registration and getting out the vote.
This Black History Note has been brought to you by Supplemental Support Care. Welcome back to the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner. And I'll tell you, we're having a great conversation. I think we got a text message. The text message wants to know your opinion on this. What do you feel about the fact that even though the 3 Mile Bridge has been named the Dr. Chappie James Bridge, nobody wants to call it that. They don't want to give it the recognition that it deserves.
Well, you know, my team and I were talking about this recently as well. The General Daniel Chappie James Memorial Bridge, right? Not the 3 Mile. I think, you know, I like to give sometimes benefit of the doubt to people when we have change.
Right.
So I think that there may be some people intentionally not calling it that.
I think so.
But I would hope to think that the majority just hasn't gotten the 3 Mile Bridge out of their vocabulary.
Because it was so long, that name.
It's been there for a long time. People kind of recognize it as a 3 Mile Bridge. That's not the official name of the bridge, by the way. It has a name. I don't named after someone.
Okay.
But you know, people call it the 3 Mile Bridge.
Exactly.
Which is not, from what I understand, the official name.
Right.
But people have been saying that so long that I'm kind of giving the benefit of the doubt for a little while. But every time my team and I have an opportunity, we kind of reemphasize to people, hey, it's the General Daniel Chappie James Memorial Bridge.
And it's so pretty.
It's a great name, and it's beautiful.
I walk it back and forth.
Good for you.
But I mean, what I'm saying, and when you go there at night, it is so
pretty.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that because I've often wondered that. Why is it, even when I hear it on other TV stations?
Yeah, I've heard it on other outlets.
Yeah, so why is it that you won't give this bridge its dues?
Right.
That's the name of the bridge.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to become comfortable or used to that, you got to keep saying it over and over and over again. But I don't see that.
Yeah, and you just got to take it when you hear people call it that.
Correct them.
Just take the time and say, hey, it's got a new name now. It's General Daniel Chappie James.
Exactly. I'm so glad whoever texted that. I'm glad you asked that question because that was on my list to ask as well. Now, when we were talking about getting the kids involved and the things that you all do with the kids, I think they're simply fantastic. When I pulled up the website, the first thing I clicked, it was a young lady in a plane.
Yes.
I mean, how do those kids, does that excite them, motivate them to learn even more about becoming a part of? That they see that there's a value in them.
Yes.
That all I need is teach me how to allow this to come out.
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that question because our summer camp is focused in on aviation.
Okay.
So the kids learn how and why airplanes fly. How does it stay up in the air? What is the principle that allows it to do that? So that's what we teach them during the summer camp. Brunelli's principle, the 3 axes of flight.
Okay.
The 4 forces of flight. Because we always have this. The first question I ask on day 1 of the camp is, because our camp is the only one where the kids actually get to go fly an airplane at the end of the part of their graduation.
Really?
Yes. That's why you see the young people in the airplanes, because that was graduation. And the reason for that is because, like I mentioned, the first day we asked the kids what they want to do with their lives and who's going to go fly, and because they know that flying is part of it.
Right.
And we have a lot of hands raised. Oh, I'm not getting an airplane. I'm not getting an airplane. We understand that.
Right.
But here's the deal. Through our coursework and our field trips, the kids get an understanding of what makes an airplane fly. The air going over the top of the wing, the air going over the bottom of the wing creates a low pressure going to the high pressure. Very stuff that they have in school, physics and aerodynamics. And we have a wind tunnel. Are you familiar with what a wind tunnel is?
No, you just answered something else off me, because let me tell you what I've always said. Now, I'll tell you this, Captain, this is no joke. I have always said, that's got to be a miracle, that thing that heavy. And it's got these little propellers.
Yeah. Or jet engine.
That's right. And it stays up in the air.
Right.
Filled with people.
Right.
It weighs tons.
Yes.
What's holding that bad boy up?
You need to come and be in my camp.
I gotta come to class.
It's simply the principle of aerodynamics.
Okay.
Air going over the top of the wing and over the bottom of the wing creates a pressure differential, which creates lift. And the kids learn about that. They learn about the 4 forces of flight. Thrust, what makes the airplane go forward. Drag, what keeps it from going as fast. Like the body of the airplane creates drag. Like if you hold your hand out the window. Remember as a kid, you hold your hand out the window?
Yeah.
And then you hold your hand like this and
Yes.
everything is good. But then when you turn it this
Exactly.
way,
It pulls it back.
that's called drag. You learned something today, didn't you?
He saw it in my eyes.
So then they understand lift, and then the opposite of lift is weight. So all of those things are a principle of flight. So I'm going to circle back to the kids who are sitting there and going flying.
Right.
So they learn what the controls do. You know, when you turn left, it moves the ailerons. When you push the nose forward and back, it controls the elevators. You know, and when the aircraft goes left and right with the tail, that's called yaw, and it's done by the rudder. So I've never had a kid say they're not going flying by the end of the week.
course. Really?
Because once they understand what happens and what makes an airplane fly, it's a no-brainer.
That's amazing.
It's a no-brainer.
I mean, but it's so intriguing. I got to join this
And then when
class.
they get in the airplane, they know what the elevator does. They know what the ailerons
So they
do.
understand all those little gadgets.
And they understand, we call it the six-pack. They understand that, where the airspeed, the attitude indicator, all those things. Yeah, they learn about all of those. So when they get in the airplane with the certified pilot on their graduation
Right.
day, they actually get to fly the airplane.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, I have often wanted to ask that question.
So that's just not a picture of people taking a picture in an airplane.
So they know that because they have flown. Those kids know how, they understand the logistics of it.
They do. That's their graduation.
Oh my goodness, that is great.
Yeah.
And you know, when I think about, I was thinking as you were looking, and I was looking at some of the pictures that they were putting up. They were that she's sharing right there. Well, she just answered my question because there's one right there. I was saying I want this to be, I want our viewers to know that this is not just a black.
No, it is not. It's community.
It's community.
So our focus is, and the reason we have our costs at nothing right now or zero, because for our kids or kids that, you know, are not able, regardless of your race, gender, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
A lot of times their parents can't afford quality programs.
Most certainly.
And particularly summer camps.
Exactly.
So we embrace that. We're here for that part of the community to be able to come in and say, hey, here's a home for you, and we're your family to help you with science, technology, engineering, and math.
Most certainly. I mean, I'm thinking as you're speaking, when I was growing up, I didn't have those type programs that was there, you know, but my mother, you going to school.
Right.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
But the fact of it is now, I think that this is such an array of things that kids can learn and experience.
Right.
That will also play a great part in their decision and what they would like to do with their adult life.
Correct.
To be a valuable part of our community.
Right.
I mean, I think that is so fantastic. So what are we saying today, ladies and gentlemen? Your kids, your grandkids, anybody. And I think this will also teach discipline.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned that because Mr. Folks, who is one of our founders, we call him the camp commandant. He's a Marine. So one of the principles we do is we have to have an order of discipline.
Absolutely.
Particularly for our summer camps when it involves flying. So the kids understand from day one that we're watching.
Exactly.
You know, and we tell the parents that too. And if we feel like you don't have the discipline, we can't trust you because of your behavior, you're not going flying.
Absolutely.
Because when you're talking about airplanes and spinning propellers,
you know
and you're not following directions, then you're not going flying.
Right.
You're going to stand there and you're going to watch your classmates go fly.
But you can't do it.
But you can't do it. And we've only had that in almost 30 years of doing this once or twice.
Oh, that's great.
And it opens up the kids' eyes when they see their peers doing something that they should have been doing.
Exactly.
But because of their behavior, they weren't able to do.
Right. You know, I think that's also when it comes to that with the behavior problems, I think that I see in our community, not just our community, across the board.
Right.
That would be a great asset to them to get them involved with this. That could show them something else.
Yes.
You know, because don't just put their eyes this way, but I mean, look all around you. There's so much more that's being shared, and the fact of it is, parents, it's free.
Right.
Bring those kids. Get those kids.
Yes.
Get that email.
Just
Go onto
send
the
us an email.
website.
Go onto the website, send us an email.
And get these kids involved in something. Can you imagine? I can imagine if that had been around with yesterday when I was that age. I would say, oh, wow, I flew a plane.
Right.
Look what I've learned. Don't you know when, I think with young people anyway, the kids today with these devices, oh, I'm going to do this. That's going to intrigue somebody else, I think. That's going to get them involved, that I can do that as well. How did you get in that? It's free. Tell your mom.
Right.
Because they do everything on these phones.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. As part of our during our summer camp, we have a place where when the kids come into class, cell phones. You're paying attention while you're in class.
Exactly.
Now, when we go to lunch or we're traveling on a bus, yeah, go for it.
Exactly.
When you're in class, it stays outside in the little holder.
Exactly. You pick it up on your way out.
Pick it up on your way out.
That takes me back to when I was growing up, working my way through school. There was this man, and I believe this till this day. His name was Gene Schenkel. He used to tell us when we walk in, because I worked my way through school. He said, now when you walk in here, I got this imaginary nail outside this door. Hang your problems there.
Right.
Don't bring them in here.
Right.
Keep your focus in here, but when you go home, on that same nail, take the problem back with you.
Right.
I mean, I thought that's an analogy that I kept.
Yes.
My whole adult life. That look, I can't bring all that in here. Now let me do what I'm focused on what I'm put in here to do.
Right.
And I think if we get that in some of these young people's head, because I think there's a lack that's missing with some of the kids. There may be one parent homes. And there's a cry out, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's not always such a bad thing. I think there's a cry, there's a yearning for what's missing. I think that's in here.
Yes.
That I can see Sue, Sally, and Jane with mom and daddy, and I don't have that.
Right.
And I think that comes out in a way, it's an attention getter.
Yeah.
And then it goes to another level.
Right.
I really believe that. I don't think that kids want to just be bad. I think.
No, I agree with you.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think if we would give them something that's going to cause them to be more productive,
right,
to show them the value that's in them, it means a lot. We're going to talk about that when we come back, because I think that's a huge problem. And with the Naval Academy, the General Chappie James Museum, and all the things that's offered, can be a plus with all of our kids. Red, yellow, black, white, or brown.
Absolutely.
Stay with us. We got that coming up right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Welcome to Little John's Big and Tall, where tall men and big men go for style, fit, and comfort. We offer a wide variety of styles and unique brands that service all sizes from large to 14X, as well as tall sizes from large tall to 6X tall. Our knowledgeable staff are here to make sure you have a stress-free experience and answer any of your questions. Little John's has been named Best of Pensacola and Best of the Bay for 4 years in a row. Visit Little John's at 5700 North Davis or visit us online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com.
It's time to find a health plan that can keep up with your life. A plan that makes getting care convenient, with doctors around the corner.
I can get used to that.
Plus, 24/7 access to care. Plans that keep more money in your pocket, with plan payments as low as $0.
$0. Looks good to me.
Let's find your health solution. Speak to a dedicated Florida Blue agent today. Call 1-850-393-7036 to learn more.
Fostering a pet for a friend or neighbor can keep families together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
From wanting the perfect dress for the most important day of your life to simply wanting to look your best, let 2 Times a Lady be your saving grace. Whether you're looking for an elegant A-line gown or a trendy cocktail dress, our expert staff will help you find the perfect fit. 2 Times a Lady has been dressing ladies in Pensacola since 1983. Call us at 850-474-3778 or stop by the store at 2755 East Olive Road. We can help you find the ideal dress for your event.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner on this Thursday edition. I can't believe that. I got to say this. I would like to bring up a little laughter. Ever since they believed in this groundhog said it was going to be cold, right? Ever since that groundhog said it was going to be cold, it's been 80 degrees every day afterwards.
It's been beautiful. I'm going to the beach tomorrow.
Listen, I'm telling you. I mean, last night I had to keep the air on. It got so hot in the house.
Yeah, well, my wife's got it going too.
Until I know as it feels.
Yes.
But listen, we're talking today about things that are right here in Pensacola. History, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
People that have left such a staple, such a map to follow for our children. And I think it's absolutely amazing what the museum offers, what the Pilot Academy offers, and what all of the pilots, all of the retirees are taking their time to put back in the community to create something even better with our kids for their futures. And I think that is absolutely marvelous. I cannot say it enough. Clap, clap, clap for that.
Oh, I think we're having more, just as much fun as the kids doing it. It's a labor of love for us. That's
Exactly.
how we view it.
Exactly. And I think also, now, boom, popped up. I think there's something else that we show our kids. They don't hear that enough. I love you.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
You don't have, I love you, honey. You know what I'm saying? I think if we would, and I don't know why, and I don't know whether you've experienced, but in my community, it's like they're afraid to say that I love you. I mean, they want to say, yeah, okay, I care.
Yeah.
But tell me you love me.
Yeah.
Tell the kids.
You're right.
And we won't say it. Even in the home, you won't go, I love you, honey.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to do this, baby.
Right.
If that cluck you out the head, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just
I
me.
understand what you mean.
You understand what I'm saying.
The culture,
I'm not telling you this because I tell people all the time, I thank God for mother and father for this scar I have on my knee that I know that I'm the woman I am today.
Right.
But you can look on my record, you can bet I ain't been in no trouble.
I know that's right.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
I do.
Because of the fact of what they instilled in me.
Right.
And the fact of what's being instilled through the academy and through, I mean, all of the hard work. And I feel privileged to be sitting here with a black pilot. No, you say, I do. Because, I mean, it's amazing because, you know, you don't hear it talked about enough because there are so many of us that are doing the things that you do, but the focus is not on us.
No.
They try to take the focus on us to make it look the bad thing when it's not the bad thing, it's the good thing, it's us that's holding it up. I'm just being real.
I got you.
You got me. And I just think it's amazing that right here in Pensacola, parents, friends, neighbors, get your kids involved. They got a camp coming up this summer, right?
We do have a camp coming up this summer.
Okay, talk about that so we can get people interested.
So here's what I'll say about the summer camp.
Okay.
This program, our academy, has become so popular because parents are getting involved. Kids are getting involved. We're getting calls and we're getting emails every day. So keep them coming.
Exactly.
Because now we have a bigger facility and we can be able to put on programming for the community.
Most certainly.
The summer camp is, I call it our gold star event because that's how it started originally. And I wouldn't say we had problems getting kids to come to the camp, but we were just trying to figure out how do we reach kids and let them know we have this camp.
Of course.
Well, we don't have any more room in our camp for this summer already.
Field to the rim.
We have 126 kids on a waiting list right now.
Oh my goodness.
With only 30 spots available for this coming summer camp. My team and I are talking right now, I had a meeting yesterday about the possibility of putting on a second camp in the summer.
Exactly.
So we're trying to figure that piece out, but you know, it's a good problem to have, but at the same time, you know, kids are going to have to wait.
Of course.
A year.
But that speaks volumes about what you're doing, though.
It speaks volume about what we've done.
Yes.
And and how much fun the kids have had.
Exactly.
And they tell their friends and they tell their parents, and the kids want to come back year after year, and that's another issue that we have because we want to touch as many kids as possible with this summer program. But we've learned a few things over the years.
Absolutely.
Here's what we've learned. Kids, hey, Mr. Clifton, because after they go on that airplane ride for their graduation, they're like, I want to do this again. Can I come back next year? And we have to say, we'll see. But what we created was we found that we're able to create another aspect of something that kids need. It's called leadership.
Absolutely. We got somebody got a question for you real quick, and she's talking in my ear. We got 3 minutes.
Okay.
We got 2 minutes, so this call is going to have to be really quick. Good morning.
Good morning, Sunshine. Captain Curtis, my grandson graduated from the academy. His name was Benjamin Hammond.
Oh.
And his experience with you all has extended his desires to be whatever he wants to be.
Come on.
And whenever I talk to him about the academy, he just lights up. So I just want to thank you for what you are doing for the children and the young people here in town. And like Sunshine says, they need to be exposed to you all's existence. And Keith Hoskins, I know you don't have time to elaborate on him. Would you just tell everybody about him being the commanding officer for the Naval Air Station?
Absolutely.
God bless you.
Thank you. We're going to get Keith on.
Okay.
We're going to get him on. Because we're down to, what, a minute, Jen? I think so. But let me tell you this. We got 1 minute. I want to thank you. We're going to have to do this again because I want the children to see, the public to see, that we have such quality people here in Pensacola who have done so many great things. We got our own black pilot right here that's working with the General Chappie James Museum and the Pilot Academy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, it's been a fantastic day. When the conversation is going well like this, it goes by so fast. Everybody say, oh, we got an hour. Yeah, that goes by quickly. But let me leave you, my dear friends, as I do every single day. Never, ever, ever lose your focus. Always remember now, if you keep God first in whatever you do, I believe this from the bottom of my heart. If you keep him first, I guarantee you're going to be a total success. So until tomorrow, we're going to be talking with Robert Bender, and I've got a special guest that's coming in to sing a great song for you right here on Sunshine's Corner. Until then, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.